Our first item of business will be do we need a roll call?
Oh, no.
You can sort of tell who's here.
Yes.
Yes. Y'all are smart. You can tell who's here. Okay. So we'll go to item 2, which is the consideration of the minutes from our June 16th meeting. You've been sent those meeting minutes. I'll wait for just a second for those of you to sort of peruse them, and then I'll accept a motion. It's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion?
Well, I just had a clarification.
Okay.
So, I thought it would, when the Berkeley Allen was talking about her ordinance, if the minutes referred to that ordinance as either an ordinance or a program, because it keeps referring it as a pilot, and it just sounded confusing to me. It's a pilot program.
Yes,
Not a pilot.
or an ordinance allowing the board to have issue
So
pilots.
maybe if it could just include that word program every time it says pilot.
Okay. And Joy, did you put the, are you good with that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments? Okay. So do you take the friendly amendment to change where it says pilot to pilot program? Okay. So with that said, the revised motion before us is to approve the minutes as written with the change that where pilot is in the minutes, it will also say pilot program. All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You approve. Winnie, thank you for your eagle eye on that. The first item that we have under public hearing, and this is Roman numeral 3 on the agenda, is a public hearing on the proposed issuance by the Public Finance Authority of revenue bonds in the amount not to exceed $40 million for Nashville Hangar LLC project located at 1476 Murfreesboro Pike in Nashville 37217. Building B is located at 1478, same city address and zip code. Let me do a little explaining. So this hearing has been called to allow the general public the opportunity to express its opinions regarding the proposed issuance of the Public Finance Authority of its revenue bonds in one or more series in an amount not to exceed $40 million to finance a project located in Nashville for the benefit of Nashville Hangars LLC or another affiliate of Sky Harbor Capital LLC. This project includes the development of a general aviation and aircraft storage facility at the Nashville International Airport, comprising 10 hangars, aggregately approximately 150,000 square feet, including approximately 15,000 square feet of related office space for aviation use. I explained before that the two building locations are 1476 and 1478 Murfreesboro Pike. The owner of the airport is the Metropolitan Nashville Airport Authority, and its initial occupant of the project will be Nashville Hangars LLC. None of the Public Finance Authority, the Industrial Development Board, the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, the State of Tennessee, or any political subdivision thereof is obligated to pay the principal or the redemption price of or interest on the bonds, and neither the faith nor credit of the taxing power of Metropolitan Government of Nashville or the State of Tennessee or any political subdivision thereof is pledged to the payments of the bonds. So basically, we're not on the hook. And I know that we have an individual here from Nashville Hangars LLC, Francisco. And at this time, I would ask that you come forward and maybe tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll open the public hearing. But let's just let you set the stage. And I tell you what, why don't you come and join Courtney over here, and he can show you how to push the button. Sure. And Francisco, we'll just start by you introducing yourself, giving us a little information about your company, and then the handouts with the project, and then we'll open the public hearing for comments on that, if that's all right with everyone. Thank you, Courtney. Perfect amount. Okay, and you are on.
Excellent. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the board for having us here and for the legal department, Margaret, to help us get here. So Sky Harbor is a company based in Delaware that we're with our headquarters in Westchester County Airport in White Plains, New York. And we are in the business of developing aircraft hangars all over the U.S. and major general aviation and commercial airports. There's a big imbalance nationally between the demand for a hangar space and the supply. You see probably when you go to airports, especially general aviation airports, a lot of planes just outside and so on, and that's just doesn't make sense for them and so on. And for cities that are growing, metropolitan areas that are growing, and no one's growing more than Nashville, there is a significant demand for this type of real estate at airports. So I'm Francisco Gonzalez. I'm the CFO of Sky Harbor, and we're holding hearings like this in 6 jurisdictions this month in anticipation of bond issuance. So if I could flip quickly through this presentation, I'll give you a sense of what we're doing. We turn to page 2. This is just the inside of one of our hangars that's already developed in the campus in Houston. If you turn to page 3, that's our team. Our CEO is Tal Keenan. He's a former combat pilot from the Israeli Air Force. These people are the real thing. And we also have several Navy, military personnel and so on, ex-pilots and so on, and real estate and finance people. In my case, I'm a banker by training, 20 years with Goldman Sachs and 6 years with Royal Bank of Canada. Next page is a photograph of our campus in Houston. You see here it's 7 hangars. We're going to have 9 hangars in the development here in Nashville, plus an existing hangar that's already there in the ground lease that we have. Next page, it just shows nationally right now the financing we're implementing in the next few weeks is to finance the developments in Miami, Houston to refinance existing debt, Denver, and Phoenix. As you notice, it's a portfolio of cities that are growing like you guys. Next page is why we're here for. 2 reasons. First, TEFRA. Those of us who were still in high school in 1982, as you know, when the Tax Act that created TEFRA required this public hearing that we're holding right now. Second reason we're here is that we're issuing the bonds through a conduit issuer out of Wisconsin called Public Finance Authority, PFA. It's a multi-jurisdictional conduit issuer. They are, basically a neutral ground in terms of all our jurisdictions we're issuing, so that no one feels kind of like, hey, why not me? And it's important because that way the issuance is for not only these 5, but we're looking to grow beyond the 5, all happen through one conduit, one set of bonds, and so on and so forth. And they do this, like the 2 or 3 other similar issuances, like the one that we're doing, have been done through PFA. As the chair lady commented, you're not on the hook. For a summary expression, this is non-recourse project finance debt. So neither Nashville, the airport, the state, the city, no one is on the hook for this. Only our revenues and ourselves. And the other reason we're here is that for PFA Wisconsin to be the conduit issuer, they need authorization from a municipal body like IDB, because this is the jurisdiction where the project is at. Next page is the project itself. Here's a kind of like a photograph on the right of a section of the Nashville International Airport, and this is a blow-up of the design. We started construction a few weeks ago. If you swing by, you'll see that there's movement on the field. We have about 15 acres of land. We have a 40-year ground lease. As the chair lady mentioned, it's about 9 hangars plus the existing one. We expect to finish the construction in 12 months. This is not difficult construction. It's steel and concrete and so on. Next page quickly is the photograph of the cover page of the POS, the preliminary official statement on the left. We're issuing these bonds through my former employer, Goldman Sachs, but I did ask them, the fee was very competitive. I put them to compete with other banks. On the right is our schedule. We got approvals like this one in Deer Valley, Arizona last week. Here we are in Nashville today, and then we're doing a few others in the next week and so on. We plan to post the POS on the week of the 27th, price the bonds in the middle of August, and close it by the end of August, and then take the weekend off. The critical thing for this organization is that we make disclosure to bondholders. This is a blow up from the cover page of the POS that this is debt of the borrower and no of other municipality or authority. And lastly, this is the picture again of our hangars. So that's my short presentation. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Thank you for the presentation. I didn't quite hear the length of the ground lease. You said
yes, it's 40 years. 40, okay. And actually there are 2 5-year options.
Okay, so potentially 50 years.
Potentially 50. Okay. We pay about, in ground lease, about $600,000 a year with a 2% escalator.
6 or 8,000?
600,000.
Oh, 600. Okay, gotcha. I was like, boy, that's cheap. I think I'm going to do that.
600,000. It grows at, this is to the airport authority. It grows about 2% a year, and every 10 years there's like a true up to fair market value with some caps. So there's a mechanism by which,
So ballpark value of the lease to the National Airport Authority.
Oh, it's huge. Yes, and then remember, this doesn't count the other taxes that, I'm not an expert, property taxes here. I'm looking at Margaret. I don't know if you home base your plane, maybe corporate property taxes come into play. But the important thing is, in terms of economic activity besides the construction jobs that this project generates, is that now people may home their plane at the airport, which means mechanics, maintenance, pilots. Just more activity at the airport and in Nashville.
About $35 million. Yeah, for sure. Maybe more, depending on market value.
It's probably.
So the logic of it being tax exempt bonds is that it's investment in an infrastructure?
Yes, no, very good question. The federal government in the tax exempt rules always have had what's called the ports exemption. The ports exemption says that for airports and ports in the United States, you could issue private activity bonds without having to have a special allocation. As you know, in other areas like toll roads, private toll roads that have private developers and multifamily housing, hospitals, there are a variety of segments that allow for municipal bonds. In the case of the port exemption in particular, there are 2 critical tests. The first test is that it's available for public use. So our hangars are available to the public use. Whoever wants to come and rent them, they're 3, 5, 7 year spaces, and the people who we rent to will also, to the extent that there's a corporation, it has to be a corporation that's open, they're doing maintenance facilities. So whoever wants to come in and get their plane serviced, it's public, open to the public. You follow me? That's a critical rule. We have, there's some small buckets. For example, these projects, we're financing 40% equity, 60% debt. So to the extent that we allocate one hangar to be the one financed with our equity, then that would not have been issued with tax-exempt bonds. So we could potentially, for example, in Houston, we have Chevron Corporation, Fortune 500 company, or Fortune 50 company in 2 of our hangars. So we had to do some allocations there. But to finish answering your question, the second thing that makes this tax-exempt eligible is that the useful life of these hangars, again, steel and concrete, is longer than the 40-year of our ground lease. So technically, it is still the airport, the tax owner for IRS purposes of these construction. And those 2 things, because in theory, at the end of the ground lease, we turn over the facilities to the airport. So because of the public use and the tax ownership, they qualify for private activity bonds.
And Margaret, the reason that we're opining on this and not the airport authority is we're in the tax exempt bond business.
I believe that the airport authority has approved projects going in up there, but yes, it's because you're in the bond business. But more so because the bonds have to go through a public hearing
Okay.
in the local
So the
jurisdiction.
Tefra thing.
Yes, this is the Tefra hearing. This is the preamble to the Tefra hearing.
That's right.
Which will open in a moment, but you'll have to approve the project, and then this matter would go to the mayor for the mayor's signature and sign off, and then the Wisconsin PFA will issue the bonds. So these bonds are not actually being issued by this board.
And is there a single issuance for all five, or is it each airport has an issue?
Very good question. There's really an issuance, one issuance for everyone, but then we allocate for tax purposes and for intra-company loans individually. But that's a critical point, and that's critical. Investors want to buy bonds that they have liquidity. To have liquidity, you have to have size. To have size, you have to do multi-jurisdictional, kind of like,
If one goes out, you spend that the other four. Okay.
And the airport authority, Margaret alluded to the fact that they've looked at this. Obviously, your lease is with them. The airport authority board has approved your lease
correct,
at this point? Okay.
correct.
I think that's probably important to get on the record.
Yes.
Any other questions before we open up the public hearing? Okay.
Quick question, if I
Okay,
may.
Nigel?
So Margaret, one question for you, just to clarify, so this does not have to go before the Metro Council at all?
No.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, just more specific to these details, I just want to clarify, so at the end of your ground lease, whether that's at the end of your base 40-year term or after one of the renewal options or both if you exercise, the way this ground lease is set up, your company is paying for the infrastructure and the cost of construction, but at the end of the ground lease, the airport gets all of the improvements.
That's correct. When the time comes, we will try to negotiate with the airport an extension of our ground lease. But it's, they will be in full negotiating power there to be able to say, hey, I'm going to increase it because if not, I keep the grounds. It works like in any other construction like this in airports. Most airports in the U.S. are municipally owned, as Nashville is, and most fixtures that are constructed by third parties work in this way. So,
Okay. And so that's a little bit different than how I like to, in my work, because, if we're building a building, we're already paying you a substantial amount of rent. You don't get your cake and eat it too with the improvements later. But that's obviously a great deal for the.
Welcome to the public sector.
Yeah. Did you all look at have any conversation with the airport on trying to purchase? I assume the airport probably doesn't like to sell property.
we would love to buy grounds at airports. No one will sell them. They only ground lease them.
Got you. And then lastly, do you have any type of early termination clause on the tenant side in your lease?
Good question.
On the tenant side,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, yeah. So, you mean when for us with our tenants, or with us as the tenant of the airport?
No, with you as a tenant of the airport.
Okay. Well, given that we're going to invest $25 million, I'm going to protect that ground lease, like a hawk, and so on, because we don't want that ground lease to terminate because we just put in $25 million.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, but that's all very good
Is
questions.
it assignable, though? Let's say this deal goes through, you get it built.
Oh, yes.
Can you
So
sell basically this arrangement to someone else? And
only with the approval of the airport. You have to
Fair
get
enough.
approval from the
Okay.
airport.
Got it.
I suspect if Sky Harbor gets bought.
At
There
the
you
parent
go.
level,
Now,
there could-
Ken, I know you're in the, private, no, you can't just go and buy it. I'm just,
Airports are on the bottom of my investment.
there you go. Okay, no conflict of interest there.
Let the smart guy do that.
No.
So is it fair to say that with the huge expansion going on at the airport and kind of the commercial market, right, the big airline market, that this is would you envision this as a nice complement in the sort of smaller charter market to be expanding that as well?
That is correct. So, we could envision, we'll see what the tenant mix ends up being like as we open up for leasing. Anybody with a private jet or a business related to aviation, welcome, because we're going to start soon when we just broke ground. So we start, so for example, in Miami, we broke ground and we now have more LOIs than we have hangars. So in a few months, I'll let you know how it's going here. But we expect that there's a lot of, again, unmet demand out there for hangar space.
So you might be back to this board.
I'm sorry?
You might be back.
Oh, you mean the expansion? Well, in a year or two, if the airport gives us more space, we'd love to, but we'll see.
Gotcha.
That's what, yeah.
There you go.
Sure.
And one more, just, how long have you all been working on this with the airport?
A while. I think the lease got signed. This precedes me because I joined the company a few months ago. But I know if we're starting to if we just started construction, this lease probably has a year and a half already. So probably 2 years.
Okay.
At least. These things take time. Long gestation.
Sure, absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay, if there are no further comments, questions by the board, I will officially open the public hearing for any comments on this. Okay, I see no one interested in making comments, so I will close the public hearing. And I don't see anyone in the audience wishing to address the board on this item. So I believe that we need to take a motion. Okay, move approval.
I will second.
Second.
Madam Chair.
Okay, any questions or comments on the motion before us? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. You approve. Congratulations, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you so much.
We look forward to seeing you back. And you can spend a little more time in Nashville.
No, thank you so much. And, we just had our opening in Houston, a great party, 200 people showed up and so on. So I hope a year from now when we open here, we'll have even more people show up for our party, and there will be no lack of bands to choose from.
There you go.
For our celebration and opening. We had a DJ in Houston.
That's not Nashville.
So here we will do more than one band, hopefully. And the legal department allows me, we'll invite as many people as possible, but, we'll have to be careful with all the restrictions.
So, Mr. Gonzalez, will
Yes.
you make sure and let the Industrial Development Board know when that's happening? Because we like to see the projects
Excellent.
involved in.
Thank you so much.
So
Thanks for
that's great.
everything.
Party.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Winnie's the partier in the group. She's crazy.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Safe travels, and come back and spend a little more time. All right. Okay, so I'm going to make a suggestion that we go to new business and move old business to the heel if there are no objections to that. Okay. So, yes.
Have you addressed item number 4 on the agenda, the general public comment period?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I don't see.
Nope.
Thank you for doing that, because I'm the one that actually asked for each meeting us to have a general public. Thank you for the reminder. I don't see many people here, but if there's anybody that would like to address the IDB, this is something we put on the agenda just in case somebody has any comments or questions. Thank you for the reminder. But if there's anyone here, please come forward, sit next to Courtney. He'll show you how to work the buttons, and you can address the board. We'll wait a couple seconds, see if anyone comes. Okay. All right, now we'll go to new business. So item 6A is a resolution approving the financing and refinancing. Do I have to do that?
I believe that.
I think we just did
Apologies
it.
for just having stepped out of the room.
I think we
but
just did
believe that you
it.
just
I
did
think we
that.
just did it.
Okay.
So we're going to go to B, Century Farms, CBID, project revenue bonds, presentation and consultant contract approval. So do we have somebody here from Century Farms or
No, I'm going to be kind of taking the lead on
taking it
this.
through? Okay, so you're good. And Courtney, I don't know if you have anything you want to add to this, if you've been looped in or not, but I'll allow you after Margaret is done if there's anything you want to add to that as well.
So we're still, and when I say we, I mean the financing team and the developer, we're still trying to fine tune a lot of the elements to this bond issue. And so we'll be back at the next meeting to give a more formal presentation
Okay.
on the project and the bond issues. But I'm here to give just kind of a general overview to introduce the board to the project.
Okay.
So back in, I believe it was 2017 or 2018, the council approved a central business improvement district down in South Nashville. And this is, if you are, stop me if you know where it is, but if you're driving down Highway 24, leaving Nashville in that direction, to the right at the Hickory Hollow area. Yeah, it's across from the mall. That you'll probably notice that the state has done a new interchange. I believe there's a bridge there now.
It's the Diamond Interchange.
The Diamond Interchange, okay.
Oh.
And so,
No, it's named.
and so that's part of the project for this whole area, and that's the state's contribution. They threw in an interchange to help support this new area and this growth in South Nashville that I think we've all heard about. But anyway, so the council enacted a central business improvement district down there where each parcel of property would be assessed $1 per $100 of assessed value on an annual basis. And that gets billed through the tax process, and it gets paid through the tax process. So those funds, the idea behind those funds is that they will accrue and be used to pay for the infrastructure that is going in out there. Metro has also entered into a participation agreement with Century Farms as the developer, with the development, to split the cost for the infrastructure down there, for several pieces of roadways and related infrastructure, to the tune of about $12 million, a little bit more. There's been a little dispute between Metro and Century Farms over some of the cost overruns, but we are getting that settled so that Metro's portion of those cost overruns gets paid for out of the CBID revenues. So the way that the revenues are intended to work is that they will provide a source of payment for debt service on bonds to be issued for not only the work that has already been done, but also bonds for future or some close future infrastructure work to go on down in this area as well. And the statute, the IDB statute, allows for the IDB to issue those bonds, and the statute also allows for Metro to deliver those funds, those revenues, to the IDB for the payment of the debt service on those bonds. So it's a completely revenue-driven project. No recourse to Metro, no recourse to the IDB. And so at the next meeting, we'll come back and present more formally the project and more formally the bond issuance. There was one other thing I needed to talk about on this, and that is when we're looking at the projections right now for what the revenues will look like over the course of the bonds. And there's a group that's nationally known. They're called MuniCap. They do this kind of work across the country. And they've been hired by the developer to generate those projections. And it's my opinion, it's the opinion of our bond counsel, that we also hire an outside consultant that's more independent to do a peer review of those projections. And so in the packet that was prepared for you on SharePoint, you will have seen a consultant contract, and that is the entity that is prepared to do this proposal. And so the board today does need to approve that so that we can continue down this road to get the bond documents prepared and to get everything informed to deliver at the next meeting.
And the consultant is confirming the revenue projections or the spending projections or both?
Not the spending projections. They are going to be looking at the revenue projections.
From
So
the increased property taxes.
yes, and so right now there are several properties down there that are under contract.
Okay.
So, you know, that's something to look at. But then there's also some properties that are not yet under contract, but those are also being included in the revenue projections. So we want someone just to be able to look through what MuniCap has done and make sure that their methodology is, you know, consistent with
They're
the norms.
represented they were hired by the developer.
Yes, and they
So
were
this-
hired a while ago. This project's been ongoing
Yep.
for some time.
Okay.
And, you know, we're just now getting to the point where we're ready to get the documents together
Okay.
to present, to get some bonds issued
And
to
what's
help.
the cost again for the,
97 million.
is it, no, I mean for the consultant.
97 million for the consultant.
It's not 97 million for a consultant. I would not be recommending that contract to the board. It's 12,500 plus expenses not to exceed 750. So it's something that's well within
Right.
the budget that the board has, and it's money that will be rolled into the debt issuance, so it will be paid for out of the debt issuance.
I
So
gotcha.
the board will pay for this
Upfront,
upfront.
yes,
But we will get the funds back
Yes.
after the bond issuance.
yes. That'll be part of the cost of issuance.
So next month when we talk about the project, if I'm reading this right, the interchange itself was 35. That's the feds paid that.
Yes, we're not paying for that.
Done, we don't have to
We
worry.
like when the feds pay for things.
So 62, split 20 and 42, is improvements and roadway stuff. And that's where the 12 million cost overrun came.
Yeah, well, there was a contract for 22 million, 12 million of which, so it was split 50-50. Is that number right? 11 million, it says 24 million. And it was split 50-50 between the developer and Metro. And then there were some cost overruns, which in the grand scheme of things is a very small number, but it's still a cost overrun that was unanticipated. And so,
So it's not a $12 million cost.
no. It's about a
Cost overrun on a $12 million.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's about,
That's
sorry
what
if I was
I
unclear on that front. It's, the cost overrun is in the area of 1.6 million for Metro's share. Again, that's split 50-50.
And is this the outlet mall?
No.
Not.
No, well, yes,
This is,
yes. So can I
is-
speak to that?
yes.
Is that-
Tangier,
Sure.
Yeah, so-
Tanger,
yeah,
Whatever it's called.
Tangier, so.
Tanger.
I grew up in this area, so I know it very well.
Gotcha.
So this is basically, if you know Bell Road, where the Hickory Hollow, where I had my first job back in the day, Hickory Hollow Mall. This is the next exit
Okay,
after that, which is Hickory Hollow Parkway. But that exit has changed.
yes.
If you haven't seen it. So because of there's probably, I think, like 160,000 vehicles per day on I-24 in that corridor, so it's very busy. And so as part of this development, that's why they did the diamond interchange, is to help traffic flow. So it's not your traditional ramp. And as far as where it's located, kind of give you an idea, if you've ever been to Nashville West on Charlotte, this is like 3 times the size of Nashville West. So there will be, there's already office space there. There will be, I think, 4 or 5 different multifamily developments as well with retail. So it's hotels. It's a massive development. And one of the things as far as the costs go with this area, it's known as Century Farms because it was a farm. So it's very green. And there's also a substantial amount of topography changes with the site. So that obviously leads to increased development costs and also trying to run sewer and infrastructure and roads and all that. So area was very green, but that's kind of give you an idea of where it's located in the scope. And I would say most people the community being from that area and growing up, during the recession, when a lot of the restaurants closed around Bell Road and Hickory Hollow. I would say overall, a lot of constituents are excited to have that back. And if you recall too, I'll say this is kind of the area where people were talking, if you recall, maybe several years ago, where IKEA was looking potentially. So yes, they're obviously not coming, but I think it'll still be a phenomenal project with everything. And then the Tangiers outlet in Nashville, I think I was reading in this, it said that Nashville is one of the few cities of our size that don't have a what you would call a true outlet mall in our footprint.
This does not include Hickory
And I
Hall
miss
Mall,
it
though.
every day.
No. It's the other side of the interstate.
Gotcha. And so CBIDs, we have a CBID Central Business District, right, downtown?
We have a downtown
And
CBID
Gulch,
and a Gulch
And a
CBID.
Gulch, so this is the third one?
Yes,
Okay.
which we refer to as the SONA CBID, SONA for South Nashville.
Okay.
And as we're being asked to opine on this contract, have we used David Tausig and Associates before on other projects?
Not that I'm aware of, but that doesn't mean that we haven't.
Okay.
So I'm just not aware.
How did we choose this consultant then? What
The
was
financial
process?
Metro's financial advisor
okay.
sought them out, and they are able to do that peer review kind of work.
But somebody's vetted them, not us.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
They're vetted though.
They have been vetted, yes.
All right, thanks. And I would just add this too, for the next meeting, if you and or Courtney could reach out to make sure someone with Old Acre McDonald.
Someone will be here at the next meeting,
In
yes.
August, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Courtney, any comments about this project as you have come into it?
No, I think CBIDs are a tool that we are looking to use in other parts of the city. What the consultant's pretty much doing is a feasibility report, which is pretty common. I actually did those in my prior life for the city of Chicago, so we did bonds for tips or CBIDs, or we call SSAs, Special Service Areas. So it's pretty common. Knowing the rate, that's actually a pretty good rate.
Yeah.
Well, and this one is the peer review, more of the feasibility was done by MuniCap, so I'm sure that was a lot more expensive, but this is going to be the review of their methodology and their work and their projections.
And maybe a bit more, potentially better information, since that one you said was done, the developers was done several years ago, is that right?
It was done a while ago. I suspect that it's been updated since then. I haven't
Okay.
seen it, but again, that'll be something that'll be in the larger package of information that comes to the board.
Okay.
So to remind us where we are today on this, is today we are being asked to approve or not approve the consultant contract that will review basically the revenue estimates. So if there are no further questions.
One more, if I may, Madam
Okay,
Chair.
Nigel.
When will we have this, so if this board approves moving forward with the consultant today with the contract, when will that report be completed?
I'm not sure when it will be completed, but it says, apologies for not knowing the answer off the top of my head. It needs to be completed prior to the
That's where I
approval
was-
of the bonds,
Okay.
so
So we'll have that before the next, we'll have that to
it
review.
is my hope that it gets done before, yes, the next
So we can have
meeting.
that to review. Okay, that's where I
Good,
was going, so thank
good.
you.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved for approval and seconded. Any question about the motion? Okay, we're ready for a vote. All in favor of the consulting contract, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. You approve. I'm going to flip, if it's okay, to the old business, and then we're going to come back to officer
You're taking us all
elections.
over the world.
I know I am. Just to make it confusing. So for those of you who were here last time, we had a little discussion around how to potentially hold these TEFRA hearings. And the city had suggested basically allocating that authority to Bob Took for those TEFRA hearings like we just had over the Hangar LLC project. we decided that we were not ready to take a vote on it at that point and to come back and discuss it. I think it was actually good that it's on here when we actually had a TEFRA hearing. So it is back before us. And Margaret, do you want to just kind of explain what this means and what it doesn't mean? And then let's have a discussion and figure out, do we want to go this way or do we not want to go this way?
So we just had a TEFRA hearing, and that was a little bit different from what would happen at a, sorry, apologies, my phone. I don't know how to work it properly. It's a sad state of affairs, but true. So, yeah. I thought I turned it off, and I didn't. What just happened is a little bit different than the way a TEFRA hearing would normally go. Normally, a TEFRA hearing, you would not have the presentation about the project like that. It would be just based on the notice. It could be held, if it were delegated to our Issuers Council, it could be held here, it could be held on the courthouse steps. The way that they used to do it was they would hold them in one of the council committee rooms and just, show up, and the notice gets published in the paper, just like it did today, so that the public can appear and comment on the project. It's a sad state of affairs, but the public generally doesn't show up for these. You can go back and look through all of the TEFRA hearings in the past. There's some minute books that have been archived that are the board minutes, but nobody appears for those meetings. And so then after there's a TEFRA hearing, which is the requirement by federal law that there be that hearing for private activity bonds that are being issued. Then subsequent to that, the requester, the borrower, would come to the board and have the board approve the bond issue. So then, because of the way we operate, that kind of allows for a second public hearing, because we have a public comment period at this board. So if anyone missed the first one, they could come to the second one and still give their public, still comment on the project if they wanted to. It just, having that type of public comment period does not satisfy the TEFRA requirements. TEFRA requires the specific notice published in the newspaper for a particular period of time prior to a hearing. So a delegation to Issuers Council would just allow more flexibility for the borrower to be able to schedule that TEFRA hearing, as opposed to only being...
And work around our schedule.
And as opposed to working around your schedule. So if they needed to have it, right after you had a meeting so that they could bring the bond issue to the subsequent meeting, then that could happen if the financing was kind of working on that schedule. And it's an authorization to do that. The board could attend all of the TEFRA hearings. That's because they're open to the public. They're publicly noticed. But it just really allows for more flexibility is really the purpose of doing it.
And Margaret, are TEFRA hearings and PABs always linked? So we're not on the hook for anything that is involved in a TEFRA hearing, am I correct?
Correct. Yeah, a TEFRA hearing would only be involved for a private activity bond, like what was before us today.
Right.
And
we want to do our job and make sure that, if we're encumbering the city, we want to make sure we're here. But if it's a notice requirement.
yes.
Okay.
It's federal law requires public notice, public comment, a public hearing to be held. And that does not have to be held in conjunction with the day the bonds are approved or issued or what have you. It can happen before any time, really. It could happen a couple of months before.
If we move forward with this, would it occur like on the steps of, like, where would these meetings take place?
They would take place in a public space, so the public can access and enter. Like I said, in the past, they've typically been held in the council committee rooms, which is nice because it's air conditioned as opposed to being on the courthouse steps. But they have been held on courthouse steps. A lot of public
meeting, a public notice hearing type thing.
October's fine for that maybe, but.
Not right now.
Yeah, not right now for sure. What are the, if any, what are the potential disadvantages to going that route in your opinion?
I don't really see any disadvantages. I mean, you know, when the matter would come before the board, assuming Bob is the person who handles that public hearing, you know, he would come before the board and alert the board as to whether anyone appeared at a public hearing or not, and whether they spoke in opposition or spoke in support of the project.
But we were here about that after the fact.
After the public hearing, unless you attended the public hearing.
Unless we attended.
Yeah,
But before the approval.
but yes, but before the approval.
So Winnie, I know you had some questions last time, and I want to make sure that we're respectful of, you know, we
Yeah.
pay attention to that. So let's chat about
So,
that for a minute.
Yeah, I had a couple of ideas, because as y'all know, I'm just so concerned about the public being able to access our meetings and be able to comment and that type of thing. And they do seem to be pretty boring hearings, the TEFRA ones. And I did do a little research on the internet, and you know, I can tell that they're thinly attended, but that's not a litmus test for whether they're important or not.
Right.
But I was wondering what you guys thought about changing the wording maybe a little bit on the resolution. And a couple of things. So if in the event that somebody sends in a written communication about the meeting, like an email or a letter, that be given to us and stated in this resolution that, you know, any written communication be given to the board. And
You understand what that means? I mean, if somebody
somebody objected to it.
objected to.
Yeah, and they sent in an email saying, I hate this idea or whatever, that we would see it.
Or support. I mean, I think any written communication that was delivered could be delivered to, or should be
Right.
delivered to the board.
And I noticed that other jurisdictions took minutes of that meeting and posted them, even if it was just to say, nobody showed up.
How would that work with Bob doing that? Would Metro send somebody to take the minutes?
No, Bob would take the minutes.
Okay.
And, you know, and it says the number of commenters and in support and opposed. Well, minutes would reflect, I assume, if somebody showed up and briefly what they had to say.
According to Robert's Rules of Order, minutes usually don't contain the content of
Okay.
the you know, motion, not motions, but of the questions and answers and whatnot. So usually it's just the support or opposition. But
Well,
I mean,
if we were told that several people came to the meeting, I think all of us would want to know.
What did they say?
Yeah, so Bob could tell us. Yeah.
I mean, the way that I see it happening is that you would be told what was said because so few
Yeah.
people come to a
Yeah,
meeting.
it would be
that-
unusual.
Yeah. that
And those
you don't
same
ever even-
people, so I guess my follow-up question is, there's the TEFRA hearing, and then is that bond issue always presented to us afterwards?
Well, for instance, in this case, since there are no bonds being issued by the board, if this TEFRA hearing was held somewhere else, then it would not come before the board. But this particular delegation is related to TEFRA hearings that are coming before the board. I mean, sorry, bond issues that are coming before the board. And I'll give you an example. I think it was sometime last year, there was a TEFRA hearing that was held, and it was held by I think it was held by an attorney for the project or something like that. And that was perfectly allowable, and the bonds are being issued by, I think, the Wisconsin PFA. But that had, they didn't come before the board. They were comfortable themselves having a kind of a private public hearing, if that makes sense. And so there was they just didn't involve this board or the Health and Ed Facilities Board, because some of these go before Health and Ed Facilities as well.
What's the
But they
trigger?
still put it in the paper.
But they still did the public notice. I think that they held the meeting on the site where the project was going, and so that was sufficient.
What's the trigger that makes it come here versus the example you just explained?
Well, I had that discussion with not Francisco, but with the attorney for the Sky Harbor, and they wanted to come before a board, and they wanted it to be more.
So that it's public?
Yeah,
Yeah, they want
Yeah.
to hear it covered.
yeah.
And what is the notice period, and how is the
I believe
notice
it's-
advertised?
10 days, and it's just an ad in the paper like any other public notice.
Like in the,
Tennessean.
oh, okay.
It's usually where they go, or sometimes they'll go in the Nashville Ledger.
So to this point, we have not had Bob doing this for us,
No.
correct?
No.
What is just to get some background, so we've talked about this a couple of times. Why did this come up? Why did this come up a few meetings ago?
There was,
What triggered this, I guess?
I think there was a couple of meetings ago. Well, one, we were having the WebEx meetings.
The virtual.
Which made everything very
I think that's
cumbersome.
probably why.
And then we also have been operating, I know we're about to try to switch this to operate on a regular monthly meeting schedule, but we are also operating on a schedule of when can everybody get together for a meeting. And so things were not just, just regular. So an issuer had to hope that we could get people together to have their meeting. And I think that happened, I can't remember the month. I think it was back in October. That something came before the board. I think there was a housing project or something that came before the board.
We've had a couple of them, I think, while we were virtual.
Yeah, but now, so.
Okay, so it was the challenges of the virtual environment and
And-
timing
Yeah,
and not
so
being regular.
It's just that. And
Okay.
so, we may be on a regular schedule, and it may never be an issue where somebody needs to have a TEFRA hearing right before the board meeting so they can get their bonds issued at that next meeting. They may be, the timing may work out for them where they can have the TEFRA meeting at the board meeting, and then at the next board meeting have the bonds issued.
So basically, to some extent,
Just a
some of
timing-
these challenges
timing issue.
some of these challenges that were created were hopefully passed, because we're meeting in person now, assuming we're able to continue to do that. That's one item. And then the second piece is obviously, which we talked about at our last meeting, is getting back on a regular time and day meeting schedule, whether that's the third Thursday or second Wednesday of the month. So if we do both of those things, how much of a benefit would it be to still appoint Bob to handle?
I think it'll still be a benefit to do that. Like I said, it allows for that more, it just allows for more flexibility for the actual bond issue and for the people seeking to do the borrowing. I mean, quite honestly, I will be surprised if this actually happens. If there's we just haven't had many. I know that since y'all have been on the board, you will notice that we haven't had a lot of bond issues coming through the IDB. I mean, there's a lot of private financing that's happening because the costs are so good on the private side that people haven't really been seeking those tax exempt.
And it has to be a PAB.
Yes, if it was not a private activity bond, it would not be coming before the board. I mean, it wouldn't, sorry, if it were not a private activity bond, there would be no need for a TEFRA hearing.
So, just kind of full disclosure, Bob, for whatever reason, doesn't charge us for his.
Yeah. We asked that a couple
He
of
just-
years
That was gonna be a
ago.
question.
He just,
Yeah, we asked that. We're like, so how
you know,
much do you get paid?
because
Like nothing.
you notice in financial matters, we're never asked to approve an invoice from Bob, which it never dawned on me until he said, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I just kind of do it.
We're like, what?
So he, even though he is sort of contracted to do this, he does never charge us. So,
I mean, he doesn't charge you for attending the meetings, but he does get paid out of a bond issue.
okay, fair
So-
enough.
He's a bond attorney.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. If we go this route and he does the TEFRA hearings, is that volunteer service or is he getting paid out of a bond issue or?
Assuming that bonds get issued, he will get paid.
Okay,
But he
gotcha.
would- but
You answered my
technically, he would
question.
get that if a bond got issued, whether he's handling this part of it or it happens at our meeting, he
He
would get
gets-
paid in
yes.
either scenario,
Okay.
quite
Yes.
frankly.
Okay,
Bob is the one who, on your behalf, will review all of the bond documents to make sure everything is, legal for the board to sign off on. And he will get paid for that through the bond. Cost of issuance.
Okay,
There's a line
gotcha.
item for issuers.
so I'm really at the will of the board on this. I don't necessarily have strong opinions either way. I mean, so
It's for a 1-year period, so.
to kind of test it out.
test
So
it out, see if
what's
it
your
works,
pleasure, board?
I have
Reevaluate.
a question. If somebody wanted to come to the board, if they didn't want to, like the group that came today and wanted to come in front of us,
Yeah.
would we still entertain that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is really for timing purposes for the borrower, to allow them to do this. And it's permissible for the board to do this delegation to, to their counsel, or an officer of the board could do it as well.
Is there any time-sensitive items that you know about right now that are coming up between now and our potential next meeting that involve?
I received an email this morning from somebody, but I did not have time to dive into the meat of the email, so I don't know if they're seeking a new issue or if it's some resolution of an old bond. I'm not sure, but I did get something this morning. I just haven't had time to look at it.
And I guess, guys, remember, I fully understand Wendy's concern. This is a notice hearing, it's not an approval.
Right, this stuff to come.
You've always got the second whack at it.
To come for approval.
Right, and we can require Bob to come tell us the results of the hearing. And what they're trying to get done is, if you happen to hit the dates wrong, you're holding up bond issuance by 30 to 45 days,
Okay.
which says you're holding the project up. This is a,
Timing,
yeah.
it's timing.
So Winnie, I know you had some suggested changes to the language. Are you at a point where you're comfortable making a motion with those changes in it to make sure we get it right? Take a stab.
Let me just review what
okay,
that might be
okay.
before I make a motion. So to add to the language in the resolution that any written communication submitted to that hearing, we get a copy of it, however that is best phrased. And if a TEFRA hearing is required, wouldn't it be logical that minutes ought to be made, even if it's just to reflect what the outcome was?
Yeah, and we can put that in there.
Okay,
In the
okay.
resolution.
All right, well, if you're fine with that, I think I'm good to go.
So to sort of state your motion for you, and you tell me if we're right, is you're moving approval of the resolution to appoint Bob Toot to be the board's designee for a period of 1 year to hold TEFRA hearings with the requirement that he take minutes and submit that to the board, and that any written communications by members of the public on the TEFRA hearing be shared with IDB board members. Is that an accurate reflection of your
Yes.
of your motion? Okay.
Yes.
Hearing that, is there a second on the motion? Okay, there's a second on the motion. Any questions on that kind of revised motion? Nigel?
Question, it was more for Margaret. So this will, based on the current motion before the board, this would terminate a year from today, correct? Is it an auto renewal, or will we have to vote on it again?
Well, the resolution says that the delegation shall be reviewed for necessity on an annual basis. So I guess it doesn't terminate a year from today, but it does get reviewed on an annual basis.
So we need to, based on that language, if this board approves this today and then, let's say, over the next year, we don't like this process, let's say, would we have to just do another resolution to terminate? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we could do a formal resolution to terminate, yes.
And could we terminate 6 months from now if we wanted to?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's
Thank you for the
good
clarification.
clarification. So we have a motion, we have a second. We've had a question on the motion, just to clarify it. Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
I was just going to comment. I hesitate a little, but with the sunset, I think I'm comfortable with the sunset that we have. Obviously, we can terminate it any time. And yeah, I think Winnie's point is very valid in that as long as Bob sort of gives the board a report of what happened, I just would fear like a bunch of people show up and we just get numbers of people versus like what was the public hearing. And it's probably a rare instance, but you know, and we're not even doing a lot of these, but maybe we do more in the future. So you know, when you're setting policy, you just want to be prepared for things changing and you know, bond markets changing and that sort of thing. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm comfortable with. I think as long as we have some sort of a report from our council.
One more question. Thank you. I agree with both of you all. Can we get, so first of all, we can all go to the public hearing?
Yes.
Just because it's public?
It's public.
Not as board members, just because it's public?
Well, I mean, you can go as board members as well.
Okay.
And we'll be notified.
But can we be notified in addition to, like, if, in case I missed the Tennessean, can we be notified if there's a public hearing?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Okey doke. We've got a motion. It's been seconded. Questions have been answered. I think we're ready for a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. You approve. Okay, just to make it interesting, we're flipping back. We're flipping back to new business officer elections. So I'm going to make a statement, and then we're going to take nominations. So, due to a potential job change, I will be leaving the Industrial Development Board a little early before my term is over. So it's an exciting opportunity. I'm going to miss this board. I've been on it for a decade, and I've thought on the way in.
Haven't aged a bit either.
Yeah. Botox helps. Hair color and Botox. But I was thinking on the way in, where did this board sit, 10 years ago, and what's happened since then? And 10 years ago, we didn't have a website that showed us geographically where all these projects are. That is up today, so that I think we can see that they're not just downtown anymore. They're in Antioch, they're in Dickerson Pike, they're in Bellevue Mall. I've thought about kind of the projects we've done in the last 10 years. We've renovated a mall. We've started an African American Music Museum. We've had, I would say 10,000 jobs just in the last 36 months, most of which pay a really good wage. This board is much more diverse ethnically, geographically, racially than it was 10 years ago. And I think we're talking about the larger benefits of who's benefiting from projects that wasn't discussed 10 years ago. We first voluntarily started asking companies to do it, and they pushed back a little bit. Then it started becoming part of the practice, and then one of our board members actually passed a piece of legislation to really codify that as well. And I think that the progress that this board has made really reflects the progress of this city. You've done affordable housing projects. That wasn't happening 10 years ago. And I'm just really proud of what this board has done. And I think that you're well positioned to work with Courtney and Margaret in the future. So I wanted to make that statement before we elect officers. So this will be my last meeting, and I will miss you. Let me say this. It will be my last meeting officially. I may come in August because we're going to be at the African American Museum. Is that right? And
That's the idea. It hasn't
if that happens, I may just come as an observer because all the companies that get the job grants are going to be there. So it might be my little just observer swan song. So with that, I will open the floor for nominations. First, for chair.
Nigel. Nominate Nigel, but he's willing, able to.
And I'll second that nomination. Are there any other nominations? Okay, we'll close nominations. Do we take the vote on each one
Yes.
separately in case?
Unless there's a slate nominated.
There you go. Well, there's no slate. So, all in favor of Nigel Hodge being the IDB chair, say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. Congratulations, friend.
Thank you all.
Okay, so we will now open the nominations for vice chair. So the folks that are not here today, right? Tequila's not here today. Quinn is not here today, and Christina are not here today. So I just want to say that just so that we don't forget them in nominations. So the vice chair kind of fills in when the chair is not there. Most of the signing of documents is the chair and the secretary, just to clarify kind of the roles. The current vice chair is Nigel, and the current secretary is Quinn.
And Christina is the vice secretary.
Yeah, which almost never has anything to do, I guess. But there it is. So are there nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Quinn C.
Okay. Is there a second on that nomination? I'll second it. Any other nominations? And you, let me just say also, you can nominate yourself. There's nothing that says you can't.
Do we know if she's willing?
She's currently the secretary, so I did not, I don't know.
She got elected.
Okay.
She's got to serve if she gets elected.
Let's see, okay, are nominations closed?
She is very well qualified.
Yes. Okay, so all in favor of Quinn Siegel being vice chair, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Okay, so the next position is secretary. This person will have to sign documents at various times, be available to Bob Took or Courtney or Margaret to sign documents.
And the minutes.
And the minutes, yes.
I was going to say Winnie.
Winnie.
Got the best eagle eyes of any human being.
All right,
I'd second that.
Winnie.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of Winnie Forster serving as secretary, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Okay, and the last position is the vice secretary, in case something terrible happens and Winnie is not available.
Nominate Christina.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Christina Oakley, as she is now termed, is nominated to be, she's gone third. Just to update you on the last meeting,
Yeah,
she said, she told us.
missed the last meeting.
She told us at the last meeting, she's
Hey, everybody.
I missed a lot of the last meeting.
that she's going by Oakley. So Christina Oakley is now nominated to be the vice secretary. Any other nominations? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. Okay, congratulations, everyone. Financial matters.
We have 9 invoices to be approved, and there's a cash balance of $68,764.
Thank you. So this consultant contract of 12 grand plus, will that be paid in full or at the next meeting or come in spurts?
They're going to get paid in full at the next meeting. They're going to bill us, so actually it shouldn't get paid at the next meeting because they have to do the work and bill us.
Okay, that's coming. Okay, so schedule meeting dates. Margaret rightly said that, with COVID and all the craziness the last year, we kind of moved meeting dates around. I'm really going to let y'all discuss when you think are the best because it's not going to involve me. What are your thoughts?
So, I guess, and I know we've got some people not here today, again, but I would say, just big picture, we do for everybody, for not only our board, but for the companies and the residents, we need a consistent day, time that people know,
Yeah.
like we're meeting. Margaret's first question for next month, for August, that will be the meeting where we have the UBSs of the world, et cetera, come before us.
That is the plan, that's the current plan, so we'll need to, as soon as we have a date, then coordinate.
A lot of people let know, yeah.
With them, who's gonna come.
Wasn't it the fourth Thursday of every month was the last regular time?
I don't recall, I've been here so long, we've changed the regular date.
It was third or fourth. It was the third Thursday.
Okay.
The third Thursday is, for me, is just off the table.
And
I
that's
can't
why I
do
was
it
asking
unless
about-
And
it's
Court
a
and
meeting.
Courtney, I know like last meeting, you had to go to the Nashville Airport Authority. Are there certain regular meetings that you have to attend that we need to, that this board needs to consider because of your availability as well?
Yes, today is the airport committee day, so they're aware that I'm here.
Okay.
Second
So Wednesdays are
Second Wednesday.
second,
Wednesday's committee meetings, third Wednesday's actual board meeting.
okay, so second and third Wednesdays not good for you.
How are Thursdays?
How about if we request from our new chairman-elect, how about if you work with our staff folks and ask them, what's the best day that works for you?
Our council and.
All the other, because we don't.
And come up with an answer?
Right.
Okay. What we do need to do, to Margaret's point, is we need to set the date for the next meeting, because if all those companies are coming, you need to let them know right away.
Scheduled.
And are we
Yeah.
still trying to do the August meeting at the?
They are interested at the museum, they're interested in having a meeting there, and so if we can, get a date, I think that we can probably get it scheduled with them.
And
So if we did the third Thursday, that's the 19th?
Well, the fourth Thursday might, because of Margaret's unavailability, I think.
I'm sorry.
Fourth Thursday.
Thank
is like
you.
the meeting.
So that's the 26th of August.
I have a standing board meeting with Penny Green on the fourth Thursday.
Thursday.
with who, is it in the morning?
Yeah,
How about the fourth Wednesday?
but Wednesdays aren't good.
Okay.
Say it one more.
I was going to suggest Fridays.
Fridays.
Are Fridays bad for you?
Fridays are bad for
As
you?
long as I know, I'd make time.
Fridays are bad for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, they're not ideal, but I can, work around it. Yes.
What if they're, the board's always met in the morning. What if it goes to afternoon?
The third Thursday of the month in the afternoon, if we're looking at my schedule, I'm available.
Yeah, typically, most places out there at 1 o'clock, you do committee meetings, board meetings, and then Monday afternoon for IDBs and other cities, so Thursday should work.
Thursday afternoon, third Thursday afternoon, you don't know of any immediate conflict.
That I'll pay it back, we can work around that.
How about you, Winnie?
That'd be great, Thursday afternoon.
Okay,
we're
so
not
it looks
setting
like,
this as our permanent. This is just for next.
next one, and then
Okay.
maybe since this seems to work, maybe you
Yep.
working with the staff poll and see maybe it is Thursday afternoon. So the 19th at,
1:30.
okay. Does that work?
We'll work with the museum, and if for some reason that's a conflict, we'll get back.
And Mark, just to make sure, because we also have a lot of companies coming.
Oh,
is
it
that-
doesn't?
No, it's
Is there area they're set up great for?
Is a different time that day better?
No, we're out of town the night.
I don't know how it is set up. Honestly,
We just keep striking out with you, don't we?
I just came to that room, I just presented this morning with Trish, we're all, it was about 200 people.
Okay.
So he did accommodate.
And what about parking?
The park different Broadway, got a picture.
Okay. So we can folks expense, the board members expense
the
parking?
board members can, but the public will have to pay their own way.
Hmm.
But the board members can submit their pay stubs.
the companies can afford that, I think.
Just the,
Just FYI for Nigel, that's probably good to know in the beginning.
absolutely.
Okay. Gotcha.
I was unaware that the meeting was being live streamed.
I don't want a better time.
As we all were. Public, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the show. So this concludes our agenda. I'd like to thank all the members of the board, Metro Finance, Legal, Economic, Community Development, both personally and on the board's behalf. There being no other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Okay. All right. With no objection, we are adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.